All right, well, here in chapter 8 of the book of Hebrews is a bit of a continuation of the themes from last chapter of Christ being the one that makes the intercession for us. He takes care of us. So explaining that idea of the atonement, what Christ did for us. Verse 1, now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. So this is kind of like the bottom line that Paul's getting at here. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle which the Lord pitched and not man. So he's talking about we have this great high priest who administers in the temple of God, not a man-made temple to God, in the heavens, the temple in heaven that God sits in, where his throne is. He intercedes there for us. The temple on the ground is a temporary one, preparing us to think about the higher one. He is dealing with a higher one. This great high priest is Jesus Christ. He's there to help us out. So that's the thing we need to think about there, okay? Verse 3, for every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. Christ has something he can offer as a sacrifice, which was himself. Verse 4, for if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. Now this is kind of an interesting point that he brings up, because as he mentioned in the last chapter, Jesus was of the tribe of Judah. He was a Jew, so he didn't get the priesthood, the Levitical priesthood, to administer in the temple and administer the sacrifices, because there was people already ordained to do that, basically. In fact, Joseph Smith adjusts verse 4 a little bit. He says, therefore, while he was on the earth, he offered a sacrifice his own life for the sins of the people. Now every priest under the law must needs offer gifts or sacrifices according to the law. So again, a little bit more clarification of that. Now verse 5, this is talking about Christ as the great high priest, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed thee in the mount. So this is reminding us that when Moses was commanded to build the temple, he was taught the dimensions of the temple, how it has to be built, the construction. He had the plans given to him, basically the instructions given to Moses, so he could have the children of Israel build the temple and how to administer it. And that's what they're talking about there, is that Moses built it by the pattern showed to him when he was up on the Mount of Sinai. Actually, maybe not Sinai, it might have been another mount on his way back into Egypt, or even, well, possibly actually after he got him out of Egypt, when he was up on Sinai, getting the commandments and other things. That was when he saw that. Verse 6, but now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. So we think of the Abrahamic covenant, and then Christ is going to take that Abrahamic covenant to a whole new level, this better covenant. In the New Testament Study Manual, it mentions here, in Hebrews 8, Paul summarized the ideas of the previous chapter and explained that because Jesus Christ's atoning sacrifice was superior in every way to the temple offerings made by Levitical priests, he became the mediator of a better covenant. The Greek term translated as mediator in Hebrews 8:6 refers to a third party who stands between the two others to resolve their differences and to bring them together. Jesus Christ is the mediator through whom the gospel covenant is established between Heavenly Father and us. Paul also called this better covenant a new covenant, quoting from Jeremiah 31, to show his Jewish Christian readers that the Lord had revealed to Old Testament prophets that he would someday make a new covenant with Israel that would supersede the old. If you go back and watch our videos in Jeremiah, we talk about that. So that's where Paul's bringing this up, going, guys, everything in the Old Testament is about Christ. It's preparing us to follow Christ. And since he's come, we need to follow him and keep his commandments. Verse 7, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. So Paul's bringing up this idea, if the first covenant, the covenant with Abraham, was perfect, was complete, there's no need for more. But because that wasn't, there is need for more, and Christ brought more with him. Verse 8, for finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So this is, again, part of that improvement of the covenant. Verse 9, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. This is talking about the covenant that we make with God. Verse 11, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. So the new covenant is the gospel of Jesus Christ, or this higher law. So Paul's trying to get this across to these Jewish Christians. The law of Moses is great. It's a great principle. It helped us a lot. But the goal of the law of Moses was to point us to Christ. Christ has come. He's taught us his gospel. He's resurrected. He's administering his gospel to us now. We need to follow the higher law. We need to take what truth we had and build upon that truth. That's what he's talking about here. So this is a good thing for us to consider in looking at, of course, is this is the covenant. We need to make that, we make that covenant with Christ. When we come to him, when we are baptized, when we go through those things, to show him, to demonstrate that promise with him. As we do that, we become a part of this covenant, which means we promise to do things and God promises to do things. That's what a covenant is, a two-way promise. So Paul is getting across that Christ is the new covenant. Christ is the one we need to be following. He's the one we need to be doing more with. The law of Moses is great, and it helps us, but let's follow Christ more, is what he's trying to get across. So let's jump to the next chapter as we continue the book of Hebrews.